This November 24th, 2025 meeting of the Worcester Conservation Commission is now called to order. My name is Diane Frattoni, and I'll be chairing this meeting. As part of this meeting, we'll be holding hearings under the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and regulations and the City of Worcester Wetlands Protection Ordinance and regulations. The commissioners are volunteers who serve to enforce these laws and regulations to protect specific values identified as being important to Massachusetts and the City of Worcester. Commission decisions are based on these laws and regulations and are not arbitrary or based on personal likes or dislikes. It is important to the Commission that these hearings are held in a fair and equitable way for all parties involved. This requires that discussion take place in a civil manner and that every individual in this meeting is treated respectfully. To facilitate this, the hearings take place in the order they are listed on the agenda, with one exception tonight, which is available by the door and online. First, the applicant will present an overview of the project to the Commission. Next, staff will provide comments on the proposed work. Then the Commission will direct any questions it has to the applicant or staff. After the Commission is done questioning the applicant, the floor will be open to the public. Comments and questions must be directed to the chairperson, not to the applicant or their representative, and they must pertain to the regulations that the Commission oversees. For example, although you might have concerns over the traffic resulting from a particular project, the Conservation Commission does not regulate traffic, so traffic concerns will not be discussed during a meeting. Please note that while new points will be given ample time to present, repetitive comments will be cut short in the interest of having all parties be given an opportunity to speak. We ask that all applicants and members of the public please state their name and city or town of residence for the record. To manage remote participation during our hybrid meetings and prevent disruptions, all participants are automatically blocked from unmuting themselves, turning on their video, or sending chat messages. For remote participants who would like to comment on an item on our agenda, we ask that you use the raise hand feature in Zoom during the discussion on that item. If you are joined by phone, you can raise your hand by pressing *9. Staff will then call on members of the public one at a time and give them permission to unmute themselves. If you are joined by phone, you will then be able to unmute yourself by pressing *6. Okay. Please introduce yourselves.
Eric Flint, Division of Planning and Regulatory Services.
Lindsay Nystrom, Commissioner.
Stuart Kirshner, Commissioner.
Okay, thank you. Are there any requests for continuances, postponements, extensions, or withdrawals?
Yes, we have 3 tonight. We have item number 7, 569 Millbury Street, a request to continue the public hearing to January 5th, 2026, and extend the constructive grant deadline to January 27th, 2026. We have item number 8, 483 Sunderland Road, request to postpone the public hearing to December 15th and extend the constructive grant deadline to January 6th. And item number 10, which is also a request to postpone the public hearing to December 15th and extend the constructive grant deadline to January 6th.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Kirshner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni? Aye. So a little change in the agenda. The first item up will be the item listed as number 6, 23 Berry Road.
Good evening, Madam Chair. This is Matt Morrow, representing the applicant.
Hello.
Am I able to share my screen?
I have the plans up here, Matt. Is that
There you go.
something else? Yeah.
Great, thank you, Eric. So when we last left off, we had continued for a couple of reasons. One, we did not have a DEP number at that point. That has since been issued, DEP number 349-1437. DEP comment was essentially identical to the other reason why we continued the meeting, and that was right next to the stream on both sides, in very dark bold font, you would see the gravel that is on both sides of the stream. The gravel is going to be removed per the commission's wishes. The state essentially noticed they noticed the exact same thing. So we're going to remove the gravel, and I've written up a restoration narrative that I submitted to your professional staff to examine. The New England wetland plant seed mix the wet mix that I am proposing is one that they use that I would point out. New England wetland plants do not use any seed mixes that contain any cultivars. So the wetland seed mix that will be planted and monitored for the 2 growing seasons by myself would have and contain no cultivars in it. That's basically it. And again, pardon the sound of my voice as well. I've just getting over, I don't know what it was, but I've also had a case of laryngitis. So if I sound funny, I apologize.
You sound fine. Thank you for not bringing it in.
You're welcome.
Any additional comments on this?
Not too much from staff. The only real pending item we had from the last meeting was the restoration of this bank area, so I think we're all set at this point.
Any comments or questions from the commissioners? No? Any comments or questions from the public? Raise your hand on the Zoom app if you're online. Anybody there? See it? A motion to close the hearing?
Motion to close?
Second.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Fatoni? Aye. Proposed order of conditions?
All right, so we have, in addition to the standard conditions, we have a condition that the bank restoration plan be implemented within 12 months of the issuance of this order of conditions. Monitoring reports shall be provided to the Office of the Commission for 2 growing seasons after the restoration work is completed. The report shall include photos that demonstrate that native vegetation has been established. This area is to remain undisturbed in perpetuity thereafter. We have condition number 51 for equipment placement. An additional condition ongoing that pool water not be discharged towards the wetland area. Condition number 65 for fertilizer, 68 for wetland permitting, and we have the ongoing condition for the pool in 65 and 68.
The applicant have any questions about the conditions?
No, Madam Chair.
Okay, commissioners, any comments or questions?
No.
No.
Is there a motion?
Motion to issue.
Motion.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Motion to issue the order of conditions.
So, second.
Okay, Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Fatoni? Aye. All set.
Thank you all very much, and have a wonderful evening.
You too. So back to the top of the agenda, new business number 1, Grafton Street right-of-way, request for determination of applicability.
Good evening, Madam Chairman, board members. My name is David Sadowski. I'm the principal of DJ and Associates, and my hometown is Clinton, Massachusetts. I'm here to present a plan. Along with me is Andre, who is representing the property owner. The reason for the sewer extension is there is 2 12-unit apartment buildings planned for a vacant parcel on Grafton Street. But there is currently no sewer up in that area. The sewer ends at Bon Air Road. So we put together a plan that DPW has reviewed where we would extend the sewer main up the center of the road. This is the phase 1 of the project, to have sewer available out in the street. Then it would be feasible for a bank and other financing if there was sewer available for the project.
Any staff questions or comments?
It's a pretty straightforward project. Don't have any concerns. DPW issued a comment letter, as Dave just mentioned, and we got revised plans in response to that, so all set on staff's end.
Okay. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Comments or questions from the public? Anyone online? Is there a motion?
Motion to issue a negative determination.
Second.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Fatoni? Aye.
Thank you for your time.
Have a good night. Next item, number 2, Sunderland Road right-of-way.
Hi, this is Joshua Surratt from Epsilon Associates, representing Massachusetts Electric Company.
Hello.
Hi. Hi. I just want to make sure you can hear me.
Yes.
Great. Yeah. So thanks for having me tonight. Okay, great. The updated photos and mapping are being displayed. I can see that. Yeah, I'm happy to present on behalf of Massachusetts Electric Company for this distribution line project, which basically consists of relocating existing pole P75 and installing new pole P7584, as well as a ground-mounted helical anchor. The work is proposed within the 100-foot buffer zone to an unnamed intermittent stream that was delineated by Epsilon Associates. It's also located within the 15-foot, 30-foot, and 50-foot buffer zones promulgated under the ordinance, as well as the 100-foot buffer zone to storm drains and catch basins that are also identified in the ordinance. No work is proposed directly within any wetland resource areas, just the upland buffer zone areas. The work is also located outside of any FEMA flood zones, and it's also not located in any natural heritage and endangered species programs, estimated or priority habitats, or potential or certified vernal pools. None of those resources are located within the project site. The proposed activities are considered exempt under the Wetlands Protection Act under 310 CMR 10.2 2A2, which allows for activities to conduct, maintain, repair, or replace, but not substantially change or enlarge lawfully located structures or facilities used in service of the public. The planned utility maintenance are as shown here. We had a request in conversations with Mr. Flint about pushing the proposed new pole outside of the 15-foot buffer zone. So MECO's engineer was able to relocate that proposed new pole approximately 31 feet from the bank of the unnamed stream. And that's the location shown now in this updated plan. Also, he was able to relocate the proposed replacement for P75 approximately 21 feet from the bank of the stream. And in the photos there, photos 1 and 2, I tried to call out, it's a little bit tough to see, but you can see the red and white stake for P75 just off the road shoulder there. And you can see the location of existing pole 75 as well as the blue top of bank flags that were hung. And then photo, so that's the existing pole that's going to be replaced. And then photo 2, it's sort of hard to see, but there's a trash bag there, and right in front of that trash bag is a stake for the proposed pole P7584 and anchor. And then that is about 31 feet east of the blue top of bank flags on the right side of that photo. Essentially, in terms of what type of the description of work, the hole will be augured for the pole replacement, and it's will be about 5 feet deep. Once that excavation is complete, the pole is going to be placed, plumbed, and backfilled, and any remaining excavated spoils will be properly removed from the site. Proposed pole 7584 will be installed through direct embedment into the ground just off the roadway shoulder, approximately 31 feet east of the intermittent stream. Prior to any ground disturbing activities, sediment control measures, including compost filter sock or equivalent, will be installed to define the limits of work and protect nearby catch basins. Restoration efforts will be completed following the installation of the poles, and any disturbed areas will be stabilized with an appropriate seed mixture and mulch. Based on location and scope of work, Epsilon believes that the activities will not alter areas subject to jurisdiction under the Worcester Wetlands Protection Ordinance. All work will be conducted within previously developed roadways and disturbed road shoulders within the utility right-of-way. And environmental controls will be installed to ensure that the work is limited to the identified workspaces shown on the mapping. And therefore, we respectfully request that the Commission issue a -2 determination about applicability under Category 2 under the ordinance confirming that the proposed work lies within jurisdiction but will not alter any resource areas. And I will turn to the commission for any questions.
Okay, thank you. Any staff comments?
Yeah, our only real concern was just the initial proposed locations for the poles, and just, we reached out to see if there was any possibility in shifting those a little bit further from the wetland, and we appreciate the revised plans that the applicant submitted today, moving those outside of the 15-foot buffer, so nothing further from staff.
Okay, comments or questions from commissioners?
What is the scope as far as days? Is this going to be done within one shift or multiple days?
That's a good question. Typically, these type of activities, like the installation of 2 poles, would be completed within 1 workday.
Okay, so then I'm to understand that any residual spoils that wasn't used for backfill will be taken within that same day, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, I have no further questions. Thank you.
Comments or questions from the public? Anyone online? No? Is there a motion?
Motion to issue a negative determination.
Second.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Fatoni? Aye. You're all set.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Next item, old business and abbreviated notice of resource area delineation, 31 Randolph Road. I just want to make sure everyone understands that this item is not approving a project. It is approval of the location of the wetlands as submitted to the commission. Is there anyone here on behalf of the applicant?
Yes, Madam Chair, Mary Ann DePinto, 3 Oaks Environmental. I did the wetland delineation on the site, and then I did the revisions that the commission had asked for back in July, and those were picked up by the surveyor and put on plans that you see. The overall plan in front of us right now shows the areas of modification that were requested by the commission. There's an extra area of H-series wetland that flows into the G-series. The G-series wetland needed flagging between 2 points. I added those. And the C-series wetland connects over to the F&D lines. The 2 wetland series connected. And that's the response to the commission's concerns, as well as having the plan stamped by the surveyor.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any updated comments?
Yeah, so the main changes we were looking for have been addressed in these revised plans. We had sent over a comment letter based on our field investigation of the wetland delineation. There were a few points that Mary Ann just mentioned where, sorry for the feedback, where we wanted to see changes made to the either connecting flags or changes to the delineation itself, and those have been updated at this point. We have received some written abutter comments on this project. There's a lot of reference to documents that were submitted back in 2003 for a previous filing. A lot of the letters that we received indicated an interest in resolving some of the questions that were posed at that time. We did have a chance to review the information that was submitted. We had, sorry, Mary Ann, would you mind just muting? I think the feedback is coming on your computer.
I'm sorry, what?
I was just asking if you could mute your mic, because I think we're getting a little feedback.
Okay.
So we had looked at we looked at the old 2003 filing to review the wetland delineation at the time. A lot of the questions that were posed related to the project that was proposed at the time and its compliance with performance standards. As the chair stated at the beginning of the hearing, the application that's in front of the board tonight is just the confirmation of the resource area boundaries. It doesn't have anything to do with proposed work. It's not approving work. Any work within 100 feet of these areas would require the commission's review at a future date. There were questions about the wetland delineation itself, and there were also questions about the fill piles that were placed that you can kind of see just based on the topography on the screen right now. Didn't have a lot of luck in finding, the history of those fill piles or when those were added. Looked back at old USGS maps, old project files, and wasn't able to really find anything. There were, the number of comments related to the wetlands itself. There was a letter from Glenn Kravowski, a wetland scientist, regarding some areas that had not been delineated in the previous delineation, and you can see that up on the screen now. This is the plans from 2003. You really only see that finger-like wetland flagged kind of on the plan north side of the site, and if you look at what's flagged now, that's a significantly larger wetland area and also several wetlands that were not included in the first delineation. So there was a significant amount of work done in terms of flagging. The wetland area that's been flagged on the current plans is significantly larger and more extensive than what was flagged originally. A lot of the specific areas that were called out by Mr. Kravowski in his comment letter from 2003 are currently shown as wetland resource areas on this plan. So I just wanted to mention, the research that we did into this old filing, just because I know there are abutters who have concerns about this site. So just wanted to address the wetland piece as far as the delineation goes, related to compliance with regulatory performance standards. That's something that we'd be able to evaluate if and when we get a filing for proposed work on the site. So that's it for staff for now.
Commissioners, any questions or comments?
None here.
Anyone here from the public on this item? Please come up and can sit at one of the chairs or stand at the podium. Either, you'll need to take a microphone with you if you're going to the map.
Thank you, Chair. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Is it clear enough?
sounds clear to me.
I heard about 2% of what you had said through the microphone. My hearing is not that great, and I'm at a loss as to what the exact nature of your comments were regarding, I presume, the letter submitted to the board.
So before we go any further, could you just introduce yourself?
Oh, my apologies. George Evans, 14 Randolph Road.
Excellent. Do you mind if I do a little interpretation? If that's okay, can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
I
barely,
think I'm
but
too loud
please,
sometimes.
distinctly with enough volume.
Got it. So I think to summarize, what the conservation agent said was that documents were reviewed from the submissions from the abutters. There were plans and previous wetland surveys going back to 2003 related to other projects that were proposed and eventually discarded. We have since seen in this map that the wetlands have been significantly expanded on this property compared to 2003, and that was the old wetlands map showing right now. And then the current one, which, a significant portion of this parcel is now flagged as wetlands. So that point was made. There was an attempt to do some research on when those mounds appeared. We used satellite photos, aerial photography. We reviewed the plans submitted for the construction of Sam's Club, for the construction of the highway itself, looking for the source of the piles of dirt, which were too big to be your average homeowner pile of dirt. But we were not successful in pinpointing when they appeared. The other point made is that the vote tonight is just to approve this wetlands map and doesn't approve any project, doesn't approve any work whatsoever. It's only to approve that this seems to be or is the current state of the wetlands on the property.
Yes, I understand that
Okay.
the date on the placement of that fill has not been determined as yet.
Correct. We don't have a resource that has told us yet when it arrived.
There's over 4 million cubic feet of fill that were placed there. Was there a permit for that fill?
We are not aware that there was any permit for any modification.
Are you aware of when the fill was placed there?
Aware of what?
What year the fill was placed there?
I don't have an exact date,
Do you have a
but I
decade?
think some of my files will show a close pinpoint. That is, early 90s, could be 90 to 93, and through that time frame.
So that might be consistent with when the Sam's Club property was, and Trinity Nursing Home were first developed in that window.
Exactly right. As I understand, the grading on the Kenwood Road side of that lot needed to be diminished. It was too steep a slope. So there was considerable fill brought from that southern portion of the lot and then placed on adjacent land, namely this plot that we're seeing here. So that's my interest of concern, immediate concern and question is when it was placed there and was it permitted to be placed there? And if it was not permitted, then what are the consequences of same? I think that was outlined in this inquiry that I presented 2 months ago to the board. And perhaps we could have a formal return on some of these matters, no matter what the status happens to be.
So you're looking for like a written response to what the city has knowledge of?
Well, I'd like it, number one, identified, and number two, whether there is was a permit for that. Number three, what is the identity and/or the composition of that fill? And that is, if there's anything hazardous within it or not. And the alteration to the wetland because of the fill. And I think those are all concomitant to one another.
I understand.
And do you need my address for any returns on this?
No, I don't.
So I guess, you know, the comments you submitted are, we took those and shared them with the commission and the applicant for the purpose of this review. What we're doing in this hearing is reviewing the wetland delineation that's shown on the screen here. We're not kind of going back in time and looking at contaminants. It's unrelated to the focus of what the commission is reviewing currently. We did look back at historical imagery, and again, you know, we don't have evidence that I've seen that shows that there was any wetland fill. There was never any enforcement action taken for wetland fill on this property. So there's not much more, you know, we can do at this time for something that's happened, you know, decades ago at this point. You know, fill is considered a continuing violation. So if we have some way to document that a wetland was filled, we could take action on that. But again, based on what we've reviewed, I haven't seen anything that indicates that a wetland was filled here. So what we're reviewing is just the boundaries of the bordering vegetated wetland as they exist currently.
Are there any photographs of that particular area of the lot prior to 1990?
Not that I have. Do you have photos from prior to 1990 that you're willing to share with us?
I will present them if I do locate them, I will present them. And I suggest, lastly, I suggest as you look at a wetlands delineation, can I go to the map and point it?
Yes, and you bring the microphone with you.
Could you please bring the mic with you, because we have commissioners who can't hear you.
Here, I'll bring the mic.
Thank you.
So all of this is wetland,
All of what?
all of this land mass here. This is the border.
Oh, okay.
So,
This is wetland. Thank you.
yep. And so all of this is the 100-foot buffer around all of the wetlands that are defined on the property now, which leaves about this outside of the buffer zone and the back here outside of the buffer zone. Any work in here would require approval going forward.
Yeah, thank you for that clarity. And I suggest looking at this, these heightened areas are what I would determine the mounds. And these wetlands look like they are forced around the toe of the mounds, as a matter of fact. Ergo, the wetlands were formed after these mounds were placed to interrupt the natural current, which I presume would be to flow this way or flow down to that way. Thank you.
Thank you. I do understand the concern. I have spent a lot of personal time trying to find an answer to those mounds. But it is not in the scope of the commission for tonight to address that, but I haven't given up. Anyone else from the public on this? Anyone online? Okay. So we don't do too many ANRADs. Close the hearing?
Yes, next up would be to close the hearing.
Is there a motion?
Motion to close hearing?
Second.
Commissioner Kirchner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Fatoni? Aye.
So this order of resource area delineation, or ORAD, is essentially confirming the BVW boundaries that are shown on the plan. Just note that we're not confirming any bank boundaries as part of this, since they weren't separately delineated.
Say that again, please?
Just that we're not confirming any bank boundaries as
Bank
part of
boundaries.
this. There were some stream channels within these wetlands that were observed, but that wasn't on the plan, so we're not making a determination on those, but the BVW boundary is confirmed as accurate.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions from commissioners?
Not here.
Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve plans.
Second.
Commissioner Kirchner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Fatoni? Aye. You're all set. I think she's muted, right?
Yes, thank you very much. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
You too, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, old business, notice of intent, 30 Quinsigamon Avenue.
Good evening. My name is Kimberly DeGudis. I'm with WSP. We are here on behalf of Eversource Energy. We had previously, I think 3 meetings ago, we had presented on this project. It is essentially a site cleanup and security improvements to an existing lot. However, DEP had not yet issued the notice of intent number, and we now have that information in-house.
Any updates from the last submission?
Not really, just a refresher for the commission that this is in front of the board because it's within bordering land subject to flooding. The applicant's proposing a net removal of material here, so it's not there's no concern of increase or decrease in flood storage capacity, so nothing further from staff.
Any questions from the commissioners?
Not here.
Nope.
Anyone here from the public on this item? Anyone online? Is there a motion to close the hearing?
Motion to close hearing.
Second.
Commissioner Kirchner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Fatoni? Aye. Order of conditions?
Just the standard conditions for this one. It's a pretty straightforward project.
Does the applicant have any questions about the conditions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Motion to implement orders, conditions.
Second.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Fatoni? Aye. Thank you, you're all set.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great holiday.
You too. Next item, notice of intent, 284 Grove Street.
Good evening. For the record, Nick Dewhurst with Bowler. So we met about 2 weeks ago. I think the main issue is we did receive our DEP file number yesterday, which is good. So that loop is kind of closed, and I believe the one outstanding comment that we did have as a result of Eric's comments, as well as some feedback we had at last meeting, was the location of that construction entrance. So that has been relocated off of the culverts, and it will now be direct from Grove Street as depicted on this plan. Other than that, happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Anything new on this?
No, the revision of the entry location addresses our lingering concerns at this point.
And you took back to,
Yes.
thank you. Commissioners, any further questions or comments on this one?
None here.
Anybody here from the public on this? Anybody online? Okay. Is there a motion to close the hearing?
Motion to close hearing.
Second.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Fatoni, aye. Proposed order of conditions?
So in addition to the standard conditions, we have 37 for stormwater management system maintenance, 39 for certification of infrastructure, 48 for dust control, 49 for dewatering, 50 for cement truck washing, 51 for equipment placement, 56 for spill prevention, 66 for sand and salt, with ongoing conditions 37 and 66.
Any questions? No. Any comments or questions from commissioners?
No.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Motion to implement conditions.
Second.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Fatoni, aye.
Thank
So,
you. Have a good evening.
Keep an eye on that thing. Next item, new business notice of intent, 939 Southbridge Street.
Hi, good evening. For the record, my name is Allison Milliman. I'm with BSC Group, and I'm here on behalf of the applicant, Massachusetts Electric Company, to present on 939 Southbridge Street, Worcester, garage parking improvements and garage space expansion. I'm here before you. It's a site plan for reuse of an existing paved area used by the National Grid facilities for fleet management and mission-critical operations for the utilities. The work is proposed within the 100-foot catch basin buffer only, so we're here before you under the local ordinance bylaw for review and approval. The project proposes about 3.28 acres of repaving, expansion of an existing garage building, the repair and placement of an existing drain line, the replacement of one existing catch basin, the installation of 4 new catch basins and associated drains, and the phase 1 of the project will involve repaving the existing parking area and performing drainage improvements, which is anticipated to be completed in spring of 2026. And then phase 2 of the work will involve the expansion of the fleet garage, which is anticipated to be completed in the fall of 2026. We've had some comments received to date after the initial submission. There's been substantial back and forth kind of between the Conservation Commission and other officials in the city of Worcester. We have here as well to answer any questions you may have regarding any of the engineering a member of the engineering team, as well as Erin Morski-Cahill, and she's a National Grid AMECO employee.
Okay, thank you. Comments?
Yeah, so
I
our,
have a, go ahead, sorry.
no, go ahead, Stuart.
Well, the comment I have is this is a fleet area. Is there any truck washing going on? Any vehicle washing?
Did you hear that? She said not that they're aware of. That's not an
Okay.
intended purpose, I guess, of the site.
Okay. So if so, I would like a condition restricting it.
That's acceptable, thank you.
Okay.
So we went back and forth with the applicant. We had comments from DPW, we had some zoning comments, we had some staff comments for review of the NOI. Just hit on a couple of the points from our comment letter. So, one of our questions was regarding a stormwater feature on the northeast corner of the site. It's the discharge point of a twin, I don't know, it's a twin pipe culvert, I think, that runs through the site from west to east.
Yep.
So we just wanted to make sure, or just get some detail regarding that area and its potential jurisdictional status as a wetland resource area under the Act. We received a response from the applicant noting that the discharge from that culvert is just stormwater from the site, that there weren't any BBW characteristics of that area, and that ultimately it flows to another, through another stormwater infrastructure to another property. So I think there were also several permit filings from the past couple of decades that have confirmed that area not to be a jurisdictional resource area under the Act. So this was just filed under the ordinance. Our only real purview there is stormwater management and erosion and sedimentation control. We did question the lack of sedimentation controls or perimeter controls around the parking lot area, just given that the whole area is supposed to be excavated. We're talking about several acres. Do also recognize that it's a flat paved parking lot and that may not be necessary. I think we would probably want to see at least a construction entrance in the exit from the site to Southbridge Street to avoid sediment tracking from vehicles when the whole area is open. But aside from that, I think we're good on staff's end.
Okay.
Would the applicant be amenable to the construction entrance? Just to reduce tracking?
Yes, that's an appropriate recommendation, yes.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments from commissioners? Sue, could you just describe a little bit again the phasing of this project? Is it the intention it's going to be excavated and ground? How are you phasing this pavement improvement and the drainage installation?
Sure, I can speak to what we have written, and if there's additional details needed, I might defer to one of the civil engineers that's here with us tonight. But what they proposed was a spring 2026 phase, so an earlier phase that includes all the repaving and repaving of the existing parking area and the drainage improvements that were proposed. So it'd be the new drain lines and the installation of the 40.
Right, so is the intention, though, the entire area that's going to be repaved will be scarified or disturbed all at once and then repaved?
Oh, you're asking
Or are you
about
doing
actual-
section by section?
Phased. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not sure if we have that level of detail.
Yeah, if you could come up to a microphone just to,
Hi, Erin Worski, National Grid. I believe they're trying to, this is an operational facility, so there's going to be lots of vehicles there constantly. So I believe they're kind of working not necessarily in a clockwork position, but somewhere around that, so that they can kind of get work activities done, but still not, reduce any sort of operation activity that's happening on a day-to-day basis. So
Okay.
not an entire removal of pavement all at once. It would be phased out.
so some section by section?
Correct.
So that you can keep operating. I guess the largest excavation will be related to the new drainage.
Correct.
Do you know how that falls into the sequence of the work?
I don't, but I can get that information.
I don't have any other
And I
questions.
can ask, Alan Roscoe from TF Morgan, is he online? He is one of the engineers that is working on that aspect of the property, but he
I
had
don't see
a
the name
conflict, an
online.
in-person conflict tonight.
I don't see the name
Okay,
online,
that's
no.
good.
No.
We could include a condition that a construction schedule be provided prior to.
Yeah,
site work.
the concern is really around, even though it's, I guess, not a jurisdictional wetland, the water leaving the site does eventually enter Blackstone, albeit underground, most of its trip. So that when you have the site opened up, or you've got, soils exposed and/or grindings exposed, until you have those drains buttoned up and secured, what kind of material potentially is getting in that waterway as it makes its way to that culvert. So just trying to understand at what point the ground's open for the drainage, and then where is the water going? Let's say you get a couple-inch storm in the middle of this project in the spring, which wouldn't be unusual. Where is the water going on this site while it's opened up? So,
Yeah, I believe on those plans, there are callouts for erosion controls for any of the work activities, especially around those drainage catch basins.
Right.
To help minimize that.
okay. Anybody here in the public on this project? Anyone online? No? Is there a motion?
Motion to
What
close?
would the mission to close? Okay. Second.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Fatoni? Aye. Proposed order of conditions, including no further truck washing at this site.
So in
Thank
addition to that and the standard conditions, we have 23 for a construction schedule. We'd ask for revised plans just depicting a construction entrance. Condition 48 for dust control, 49 for dewatering, 50 for cement truck washing, 66 for sand and salt, and ongoing condition 66.
Any questions about the conditions? No? Commissioners, any further questions or comments?
No. Move to implement conditions.
Second.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Fatoni? Aye. All set.
Thank you very much.
Have a nice evening.
You too.
Okay. Moving on to other business, certificates of compliance requests.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Elise Tripp of Beta Group, and I am here on behalf of the Worcester Business Development Corporation, WBDC, to present a request for a partial certificate of compliance pursuant to the work completed at the Saint-Gobain North Campus and along New Bond Street. And so this request is being made on behalf of WBDC, and we do have Julie and Noah here from WBDC in case there's any additional questions. The order of conditions for the site was issued on July 25th, 2024, and it was for demolition of the industrial buildings in quadrants 1, 2, and 3, which is the 400 and 500 series buildings. So the area that we are asking for a partial certificate of compliance for is quadrants 1 and 2. That's the 500 series building, and that is the area shown on the screen here. So the image on the screen is one of the more up-to-date aerials that we could get of the site. But it is completely demolished. Site has been stabilized based off of field observations. Areas within the 100-foot buffer zone, bordering land subject to flooding, and within the stormwater protection zone have been stabilized. And the reason we're asking for a partial certificate of compliance versus waiting for entire demolition to be completed within quadrant 3, as well as to be able to move forward with some redevelopment efforts. The one deviation that we have with the order of conditions is the method of stabilization. So during building demolition, there was a significant amount of concrete, a bit more than was anticipated with the slabs and foundations. So in addition to some areas where hydroseed was applied as a financial savings, in addition to being able to reuse that processed concrete, which is essentially a little bit larger than like a crushed stone type material, that was used as stabilization at the site as well. In comparison to existing conditions or prior conditions, the impervious area at the site is consistent, if not decreased, with certain areas that were hydroseeded where buildings were previously. So it evens out in that sense. As far as I know, there was a question from the commission about impervious surface. And then catch basins that receive stormwater from within quadrants 1 and 2 were cleaned out to the extent that those catch basins were accessible, although it was not the intent. As you can see on the map that was submitted, there were a few catch basins that are not accessible post-construction or that were filled in. Although some of these catch basins are no longer operational, one thing that we have noticed, and I myself, having been at the site, on a weekly, if not more basis since construction started or since demolition started, there seems to be no significant drainage impact post-construction. So as far as, before demolition started, there was lots of flooding issues, ponding issues, areas where you couldn't even drive along the roadway. That has been significantly reduced, and at this point, I see very little ponding, if at all. So it seems that a lot more infiltration has been occurring at the site. So just another note, I know there was some questions about catch basins as well, so I just wanted to present that information to start with. But otherwise, I'd be happy to, answer any questions from the commission or from the public.
Staff comments on this one?
Yeah, my only 2 comments were already mentioned, just the question of overall net change to impervious area, and just a little more information about the catch basins that were filled in. Would note that the original NOI did call for foundations to be backfilled with processed concrete and then have like 3 inches of loam and seed applied on top of it, so it's not like a total deviation from what was originally approved, but obviously slightly different than what we reviewed.
Okay. Any comments or questions from commissioners on this? So I don't really understand the catch basins that were filled in and what the thought process was.
Yeah, so it's, again, not the intent. It was one of those situations where a few of the catch basins were in the locations of like interior to some of the buildings, some of them were not. Really, during demolition, there was an expansive site controlling where the demolition debris was falling. It was not the intent, but as demo continued, that is what ended up happening. Unfortunately, I don't have too much more insight on that regard.
So do you know how these catch basins were connected to a drainage system for the site? Were they essentially dry well type catch basins?
I don't have an answer off the top of my head for you. It's definitely something we can look into a bit more with some of the historical plans and be able to speak to some of those a bit more specifically.
So in addition to not putting in soil and seeding being I guess, not a condition met, it was also a commitment made to the public regarding what this site would look like after demolition occurred. Not our jurisdiction, but something I'd want to point out.
Yep.
It's hard to tell right now, I mean, going by the site, exactly what was impervious before demolition and what is now filled.
Understandable.
I have a concern overall about even giving a partial on this, just because it doesn't seem, I mean, if this is the intent to leave it in this condition till it's sold or developed, is it?
Oh, sorry, yep. So the intent would be, yes, until redevelopment occurs, that it would be left as is, and then during redevelopment, whatever buildings or structures, et cetera, are proposed, then that would occur, yeah.
So you don't have any concern about dust from the site, leaving it a concrete rubble site?
No, no, as far as, are you talking about where areas like that were stabilized? Are you talking about like kind of roadways or just in general?
No, I'm talking about the former foundations
Yep.
of the buildings that
Yep.
were so full of concrete that the estimate of how much was there was inaccurate at the time you did demolitions, so inaccurate that you now had to leave it on site
It
to
was,
fill the holes and then had excess
Yes.
to cap the holes when the original intent was to put in soil and grass.
correct. So I don't have any concerns. From what I've seen over being at the site, there has not been any significant dust from when vehicles were still using and working in that area. The only areas, and that is something that has been addressed, would be roadway on the pavement, wherever there was any sediment or soil that had, prior to being at stable condition, that had been washed out, that has since been swept. So that was really the only observations or instances where I had seen any kind of dust or sediment or anything coming up. But as far as the areas that were stabilized with concrete, I have not seen or, don't have any concerns at this time about. But, it's something we can.
So I guess, so there's no surface runoff off these sites onto the roadway or into the existing catch basins?
So it has been flattened out, so the intent is that the stabilized areas will, there is no sediment to be washed out to the catch basins. But it's something if we, there's additional information we could provide to kind of support that assertion, we'd be happy to provide it.
Is there any way to show an overlay of the current conditions over where there was pervious surface previously? There was some area of lawn, there were some areas of trees. It's very difficult to see on this plan.
Yeah.
Where those were or where they might still be.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm not inclined to approve this tonight. I'd like a little bit more information.
Would a site visit be helpful in making a determination on this?
It's a big site to try and cover. I mean, it would be, a map showing previous pervious against current conditions. It's hard to tell what's frankly, a filled foundation hole versus a dust-covered grass lot.
Fair enough.
I mean, a site visit would be fine, but I'm not sure the commissioners have the bandwidth or the time. It's a large site to get through, so I think a better map would be helpful, unless the other commissioners are interested in.
Yeah, I think a delineated map, with a little more contrast to what you're talking about is a good way to go.
Absolutely.
I agree.
I think it might be also helpful to just have a little more information about the catch basins as far as where they are and what they connected to. I mean, going back to the chair's point, I guess there's just some concern that if they're just buried in rubble, like is there water kind of infiltrating through that rubble, bringing sediment or other stuff into the drainage system that we wouldn't necessarily want to see there. So I think a little more info on that would be helpful too.
Absolutely.
I agree. Is there any way to do some kind of a calculation of what was there that's now filled and the existing, and see what the diminished state is opposed to what runoff should be? Is there any engineering calculations that can be done?
I will have to see. I'm not sure what we would have, available. I'd honestly have to look into that and see, what type of additional materials or supporting information we would be able to provide. So I will look into that and see about what level of information in that regard that we might be able to provide the commission. I don't have an answer, though, at this moment.
No, I can appreciate that. The reason why I'm asking is this is an undeveloped site, so you have a lot of pervious land for the absorption. But once you start adding more pervious ground to it, the same conditions that are now with no pooling or anything
Correct.
will change. So if you could keep that in mind with any kind of study you do, we're looking at a snapshot now. I'm looking at when you're before us in the future, what kind of justification are you going to give us?
Understood? Yeah. Sure.
Excuse me, if I may, my name is Julie Holstrom. I'm the Director of Projects for WBDC. Just to give you a sense, and I am by no means an engineer or a scientist in this fashion, but I think it would be helpful for you to know, the site that we're looking at here now was primarily filled with old industrial buildings. And yes, to what Elise did mention, there was an excess amount of concrete that was found on the site. I don't know that there is a proper, we can look at what we took out, what we paid for to take out for the existing foundations, but I will say that as we were conducting our demolition efforts on the site, the amount of foundations that went down deeper than any of us had anticipated, and they were not formed. It was essentially just concrete poured into these. Those have mostly been taken out. There were small sections that were left. So think about, there are some tunnels that were also found that were not necessarily captured in any of the historical plans that we had. So thinking about, we've now since removed some of that concrete. It is now kind of draining through the site much, much better than it ever did before. You can see some of the site now, but most of the buildings, most of the site was all building. So I don't know if that helps kind of give a sense.
It does, to give a sense on why there was ponding and pooling, when the existing situation was. But my concern is when you start adding concrete to it now, at what point will the pooling come back? I can't really say at this point, we're just extrapolating, that you remove that. That's great, there's more pervious. But at what point does that shift from not pooling to pooling because you're now changing the delta on the pervious to impervious? That's my concern for the future.
And any project that would be coming back, any development project that would be coming back would ultimately have to do their proper calculations for drainage, runoff, and whatnot. So those are things that we have conceptual plans for this site, but we are not
Okay.
we are not doing the development, so can't speak to, adding new concrete to the site. We don't know what's going to be built here yet.
I know, I completely appreciate that, and I look forward to your future plans. I thank you so much for your time.
Okay. Anything else? Okay.
So are we looking to continue this then to the next meeting?
Yep.
Okay. Is the applicant amenable
Is
to
there-
that, to provide additional time?
Absolutely, yep.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, certificate of compliance request, 129 Blackstone River Road.
So this was an order of conditions that was issued, I believe, back in 1991. It was for the development of the backside of this site here that you can see up on the screen. This is a current aerial image. There was going to be a construction of a building and a parking lot. That work was never completed, so at this point, the applicant is just seeking a certificate of compliance with the classification being an invalid order of conditions, which basically just means that the order is expired and the work was never completed.
Any questions from the commissioners or comments? Is there a motion? Okay, sorry.
Motion to issue, unless Lindsay has something.
No, go ahead.
Motion to issue order.
Second.
Commissioner Kirchner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Fertoni? Aye. 51 Morgan Street, 149 Malden Street.
So same story here. This was a order of conditions that was issued for work that was never completed. You can see the area right here, which is currently forested. We actually just received a notice of intent for a subdivision at this location, which we'll hear at the next meeting. So again, this is just a request for a COC with invalid order of conditions.
Is there a motion?
Motion to issue the order.
Second.
Commissioner Kirchner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni? Aye. Next up, enforcement orders and violation updates.
So we now have 12V, 145 Newton Avenue North. We have the property owner here tonight. I met with him out at the site a couple weeks ago to take a look at this. He had some questions about the requirements of the enforcement order. Just to refresh the commission's memory, this was a site in the stormwater protection zone, so just in a catch basin buffer. There was over 10,000 square feet of ground disturbance associated with the work in the yard, which kind of stretched from the front to the back. So staff had issued a enforcement order ratified by the commission at the next meeting, essentially requiring PE certification of the stability of the slope, which you can see on kind of the left side of that left picture, stabilized with riprap, as well as a retroactive notice of intent. So in meeting with the property owner requested some relief from that, and I suggested that we come have a discussion at tonight's meeting about that, since ultimately it's the commission's discretion as to whether or not to amend an order of conditions. You know, just from a, I guess, bigger picture as far as what we normally permit for work in the stormwater protection zone, typically we wouldn't see landscaping projects like this included or filed for, because generally I guess we just don't have ground disturbance of this scale typically associated with those types of projects. But so I guess we're going to open it up for the commission's discussion. I think, you know, seeing the site, there's clearly no risk of sedimentation currently to the catch basin in the street there. The front lawn has been sodded. Didn't see any signs of erosion on the sloped hillside down towards the neighbor's property, which was stabilized with riprap. And that backyard is certainly not stable currently. There's no vegetation growing there, but it all kind of pools towards the middle, so not really at risk of running off to additional or to other properties. So yeah, open it up to the commission. Ultimately, what we're discussing here is whether or not, you know, the commission is willing to amend based on the applicant's request, which I can, I guess maybe I'll turn it over to you at this point and let you say anything you want to add here.
Hey, doing Dan Ford, 145 Newton Ave North. Just asking for some relief. Really, I was doing some landscaping and erosion control, I guess. We had just torn out some shrubbery, not even shrubbery, it was like weeds on that left bank, and pretty much packed in riprap. It's not a very steep slope. It is how it was. Pretty much what we did was clear the yard, not even clear the yard, level the yard.
Questions from the commissioners?
None here.
I guess.
Motion to,
What?
to extend the relief?
So I guess specifically, you're looking for a change to remove the requirement for an engineered assessment of
That
the-
kind of relief.
Okay, so would you be comfortable with leaving it in place till we see the spring growing season and the yard stabilized?
Absolutely. It's not,
Does that sound?
it's not unreasonable.
Commissioners to just hold until we see the yard fully grown in?
That's valid. That's very valid.
It's been seeded. I
So,
took care of that.
In
I
that
think
case,
there was
we
one of
just-
the requirements of
Yep.
what we were going for, so.
Yeah, so in that case, I guess we could just amend the enforcement order to change the required actions just to have a site visit at some point in the growing season next year, May, whenever grass starts coming up, once the yard's stabilized. We could take
Beautiful,
one more
thank
look
you.
at it and then close it out from there if everything's looking good and there's no signs of erosion.
Appreciate it.
Does that work?
That works.
That works.
Okay, so and we need to vote on the motion to amend the
Yes.
enforcement order?
Yep.
Is there a motion?
Motion to amend the order.
Second.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni? Aye.
Thank you.
Good, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
I'll follow up with you with an email. Yeah, no worries.
Any other enforcement order updates?
Nothing from staff tonight.
Open space?
Do actually have something for open space. So we have mentioned a couple times the land grant that the city has been applying for and was awarded for the acquisition of Brooks Dairy Farm. Did just want to take a vote from the commission tonight to authorize the land grant contract. That's a contract between the city of Worcester and the Commonwealth. That's going to be signed both by the Conservation Commission as well as the city manager. So just looking for a vote to authorize the land grant contract.
Okay, is there a motion to authorize a vote?
Motion to sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, so moved.
Second.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni? Aye.
And then to our remote commissioners, is there any possibility of you stopping by City Hall at some point tomorrow to sign the document?
Tomorrow. What time? I could probably, I could probably do that like at lunchtime or something.
Okay, that would work. Stuart, would you be able to make it in tomorrow?
Sure, I could lose some sleep. It's that timely. Okay, yeah, I'll make it in tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, we're open from 8:30 to 5. It could be any time within that window.
No problem. I'm working until 2 a.m. tonight.
Oh my gosh.
I guess we'll probably take you closer to 5 then.
No, actually, I have to be back at work by then.
Oh, man.
So I'll be there when you open.
Okay, sounds good. Well, we'll see you tomorrow morning then. Appreciate it. And
Okay.
sorry for...
I get a chance to use my badge now. Look at that.
Yep, very good.
Can we, sorry, can we park? Is there somewhere other than the garage for that?
Yeah, so the only parking right now is on Main Street. There's 9 spaces in front of City Hall.
But you could park right in front of City Hall.
But you can park right in front of City Hall, yeah.
Okay,
Look
thank
at
you.
that.
And if you have to circle the block, you can just call me and I'll run down with the document. You can sign it.
All right.
At the stoplight.
Yeah. Appreciate your flexibility and sorry for kind of short notice on the turnaround and the signatures.
Oh, that's okay.
Did we have minutes to approve?
We do not. We did get a draft set prepared by the work study that we currently have in the department, but I didn't have a chance to review them today, so we'll have those for the next meeting.
Okay, policies and procedures?
I would just note here, I forgot to put on the update to the ordinance thing that we've been carrying on the past few meetings. Just wanted to update that we still are working on the red line version of the ordinance and regulation update, and would expect to have that in front of the commission in January for review.
Lindsay, do you have anything from the Lake Quinsigamon Commission?
I'm not on that one.
Oh, you're on that. Oh, you're on community preservation. Anything on that?
The second round of applications is open right now, I believe, or it might be like the pre-application. But we're moving into the second round, and I think it's February-ish is when we're going to be reviewing project applications and making our requests for what we'd like to fund.
Great. So, yeah, so Maddie was on Quinsigamon.
She was, yes. Yep.
Oh, so they've been without us again then.
Yep.
Oh, well.
We gave them a heads up that it was going to be like that.
I heard it was an exciting meeting on the 19th, so.
Oh, was it?
Oh.
Apparently there's some controversy over the rowers and the skiers.
Ah.
I don't know. All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Be safe, please.
You too.